listeners, listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satyal.
And I'm Silwal, and we're a weekly podcast on the Himalayas.
When it's a Tuesday and it's 7:30, you know it's time for perspectives, conversations, and stories. So Silwal, what do we have for today? But before that, somebody wrote to you.
Yes.
Yes, so what did he have to say?
Now, there is this guy called Amar Khatri who's on Instagram, and he sent me a request, all right? So the way the Instagram works is if you don't accept their follows, they will send you a message and you have to accept it. Mm-hmm. So Amar, if I am reading this out right now, please don't hate me from now on, but that's how he sent the message. So he was like, ha 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 ha, ha, are you Satyal? And then he again... And then it's like, oh, Silwal, right? I love your podcast, and is Satyal on Instagram as well. And then he says something like this. Ha ha ha, I always figured you would be a skinny, nerd, ugly guy we could relate to. But you're actually good-looking person. Trust me, we're not good looking at all. Instagram filters is doing magic for us right now.
And we have faces for radio, which we've been saying from day one.
So you can still relate to us, alright? Please don't think alienated just because we have some good pictures on Instagram. Instagram is just, we've learned how to...
Yeah, Instagram is there to make ugly people look good, and we fall under that category. But anyway, Amar, thank you for writing to us. Yes, I'm also on Instagram. Yes, I remember you've added me as well. So thank you for the ad. And it's great that you reached out. And Silwal is definitely the skinny looking ugly guy.
Exactly the opposite. the fat ugly guy. Anyways, now this episode, it kind of started out in a different tone. We were supposed to do an entirely different episode, but last week in my writing class, there's this student called Arya from Winterfell. That's a Game of Thrones reference, if you did not get it.
No
Satyal was giving me this blank look. So Arya was... asking us to do a task. Mm-hmm. So the task was basically what do you find value or something that you find precious. Mm-hmm. All right, and I did the same thing with Satyal as well. I asked him what was his most precious thing.
And he was expecting, I don't know what he was
expecting. Some different answers.
I said Chelsea Football Club, and I was true to myself from the bottom of my heart.
So the task was, try to think of something that's very valuable to you. You can do it right now. Write it down. Write something that's very valuable to you or precious to you, but something that is tangible. Right? For Satyal, it was Chelsea Football Club. For me, it was my eyes. Now, once
yes, that makes sense. I would watch Chelsea if I don't have my eyes.
So, once we wrote that thing down, she asked us to now sell it to the other person. Mm-hmm. Now, something that you hold very dear to yourself, we were supposed to sell it. Mm-hmm. Now we had to think of the price that we would want to sell it, the value that we're giving away, because for me, my eyes, and for you, your Chelsea Football Club, you cannot get that back. You are giving it away. This task might somehow relate towards detaching yourself from almost everything. Mm-hmm. And not holding everything to yourself. Yeah. And learning to let go.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So kudos to her for coming up with this idea. I'm pretty sure it was her aunt who had that idea. So kudos to Arya's aunt, everyone.
Arya's aunt! Woo!
Shout out to my writing class right now.
Subscribe to the podcast.
Now, coming back, when we did this, and he said Chelsea Football Club, let's just talk about this in a guy's perspective, where we are somehow inclined towards a sports club, right? Yeah. You, Chelsea Football, I am Liverpool. There's someone...
For somebody cricket, somebody could do cricket, yeah.
And let's just bound ourselves to sports, but some are into music, some are into art, some are into gaming. Yeah. That's a big thing these days. Now, if you were to have a girlfriend, Satyal, and I know you've had one and you've had to choose between a girl and football.
Yeah, I was in school and my girlfriend, that's very stupid of her, she asked me to choose between her and Chelsea Football Club. And I said Chelsea Football Club, but I have a very good reason. And my logic was, I might break up with you one day, but my love for Chelsea Football Club will be forever. Now, it's been a lot of years since we've drifted ways, but then I'm still loving my club. So I was very right. I'm sorry if you're listening to this right now. I was very true. So that was what happened.
Now, this made us think about how we are into these different things. Yeah. For us, it's the football clubs. For someone else, it's gaming. These days, guys are playing a lot of Dota and Counter-Strike and
bunking classes to go and play Counter-Strike.
And how does it feel for women who are not necessarily into these sort of things look into a guy, and then when someone like Satyal comes in and says, I love Chelsea Football Club more than the girl,
I wouldn't say it explicitly, but I was asked, and that was such a stupid thing to ask me. But yeah, go on.
So when that happens, how do girls take it? Because sometimes it's a guy thing. We tend to associate ourselves with these sports teams and everything that is around us that are larger than life. We try to immerse ourselves in the glory of the sports teams, or
drown in the sorrows when you lose a Champions League match and go down for 3 days, man. That has happened.
Yeah, we just wanted to have a talk on how this is affecting relationships, friendships, and just about anything.
Yeah, friendships too, because Robishna, I know you're listening to this right now. Every time I have a talk with Sapkota and we talk about fantasy football and everything, she's like, should I leave? I would leave you guys to it. I don't want to stay here. And then we shut up. So, but then I was just thinking about it. Maybe it works both ways. There are different TV series that ladies might watch. Vampire Diaries could be one. So
wow, you're generalizing a lot today.
A guy can't say, no, I'm just trying to make sense. Or a guy can't say, okay, don't watch this, I want to date you. I think it's a lot to do with personal space as well. Personal space.
Yeah.
You cannot just be like, don't watch this game, we should be talking right now. And the guy will be like, no, it's not a good time to talk, I need to watch my game. But then you lose the game and then you don't want to talk at all. So how do you balance that? When you were dating, how did you usually balance this? Or did it ever get in your way?
It does not really get in my way. I can multitask a lot. I love my football club, and I'm not one of those people who will wear a red from head to toe and surround myself with Liverpool mufflers and all. When I'm watching a game, I like having that banter with my girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, friends.
Wow, ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, of course, you should be friends with everyone, not the wrong people. So yeah, I can multitask, and it does not necessarily affect me in that way. But if someone tells me to stop watching it, that's the problem there, because many a times. If you're in a relationship, if you're not in a relationship, you need that time for yourself, right? What's the next best thing that you can do other than giving each other space? Now, this works both ways for guys and girls as well. We are not necessarily being sexist where we say, let the man watch his sport, right? But you need some time apart. It's just 90 minutes. If your boyfriend or girlfriend loves cricket, maybe 3 or 4 hours.
5 days if it's a test match.
But having said that, it is beneficial, isn't it? Where you get to get away from each other for a while, where you can do things that you want and then come back at the end of the game or at the end of anything, and then just have that normal life resume again.
Yeah, there definitely is. But in more recent times, in our part of the world, there are a lot of ladies now watching football as well. In the supporters club, I see a lot of ladies. There was a time when I dated somebody who was also a Chelsea Football Club supporter, so that helped, obviously. But then again, I think it's more to do with understanding and giving each other that space where you understand that you have your individual lives as well, and then whatever you need to do, let them do it, and then come back and then probably just talk about it. Like, see, if your team loses a Champions League match, there's nothing you can do to make them feel better, rather than just say everything's gonna be alright.
All right, so
that's the best thing you can say.
This has happened to me a couple of times. I've not necessarily met Liverpool fans who are girls. They usually support Chelsea, United, even Real Madrid and Barcelona, and all those things, right? So, do you want your ideal woman or your life partner to be someone who follows your own team, or would it be someone who's completely out of sports, or would you like her being a fanatic of a different sport team? What would you want?
Actually, it doesn't really matter what she does, but ideally it would be great to support the same team, or supporting opposite teams would also be nice because there will be a nice banter going on, so that would be great. But if they don't follow it, that might be a little awkward because you might have time clashes. If she wants to watch something else, then probably need to have 2 TVs, and if you have dish home at home, you can just support one TV, so that does not really work. What about you?
It's the same answer where I think it's great when they support the same team, and not necessarily that it works in your favor all the time, because if you're in a bad mood, they're in a bad mood as well when the team loses. When the team wins, everyone's happy. And
No making out after losing a game.
now, many a times it is fun when they support a different team, and then, as you said, you can have that banter going along where you're making fun of each other, and that brings out a different side of you. If the person is completely out of sports, that's also fine, I guess. It does not necessarily hamper the relationship in a big way. It's just how do you manage your time, and that's why we talk about how communication is important right early in the relationship or the friendship that you're having with the other person. Why don't you just talk about how you are involved with the sports team or gaming or something that takes some time away, and at that time the girl must or the guy at this point where they just have to know that you have to give that space for a while.
Yeah.
So
But what would you want to have them know? What does supporting Liverpool Football Club mean to you? Because for me, for example, if there's something serious need talking, then I wouldn't really want to do it at 8:30 because my game will start at 8:45. I don't want to be clouded when I'm watching my game. I just want to pause that for a bit and probably talk about it after the game, because looking forward to the games, waiting for the weekends, that it means a lot because it's something larger than life, like you said. So what are some things that you'd want them to know? What does Liverpool mean to you and supporting this club mean to you?
Well, it's a big thing where the motto itself is "You'll never walk alone," and a lot of times when I talk about Liverpool and when I feel about Liverpool is it is not just a football team for me. It is a way of life. The history and everything that is out there, and people are going to make fun of me for talking about history of Liverpool again, and we live in history, right? Yeah, get over it. But it's a different way of life where it is not just how the team plays or what the players are doing, but it's the values that the club represents, and that's what has integrated in my life as well, where I try to always be with the people that I'm with, and just let them know that they're not alone in this journey. And when I talk about Liverpool, I get very emotional, and everything emotional comes out of me, which does not necessarily come out in other spheres of my work. They just need to know that even if they support Liverpool, they hate Liverpool, they're not interested in any sports at all, they just need to know that this is something that is very special to me. And during my special time, where for 90 minutes when I'm watching a game, you can talk to me, you can do anything to me, anything to me. But it should not be distracting towards the game. That's what a guy would want, basically, right? Because I want to skip away just from sports for a while, because I've seen a lot of guys these days who are into gaming, and they play this game called Dota, where an average game is around 40 to 45 minutes, and the girls that I've met are like, my boyfriend is playing games all day and he's spending his time doing that.
I heard that it's highly addictive.
It's highly addictive and all those things, but maybe that is what they want, and you need to let your partner do what they want. It goes same for the guys as well. If the girl is into sports or gaming or into any kind of TV series, you need to give them that space and time often enough, because if you start taking over their precious time, they will feel that you are infiltrating their life, and you are a prisoner to whatever they're being living under. So need to give that space, need to have that communication, and just let it roll. That's how I'd see things.
So I'm just referring to the time when my girlfriend asked me to choose between her and Chelsea Football Club, and there you go. She's not with me right now, but Chelsea Football Club still is.
You should have always said you, baby. You. I would always choose you.
I don't want to lie.
And then secretly stream matches while you're talking on the phone. And then make sure you don't shout when Chelsea score a goal or something like that.
So would you go out on a date with somebody that you've always wanted to go out with, but it's a big game? Would you skip on that game?
Obviously.
Okay.
As much as I love this sports team, they are going to work, they are going to play, and they're going to do amazing things or bad things, regardless of whether I watch it or not. So it does not necessarily affect me in the sense that if I'm missing a game, I can always watch the highlights, right? So if there's something really important, or if there's a special date, or a special anniversary or anything like that, then I wouldn't mind skipping on that, because I've skipped a lot of games because obviously Liverpool is not that great anymore and they're not challenging for titles, so many of the games that we watch is pointless anyways. But I wouldn't necessarily mind skipping a few games, because if sometimes your partner wants that time with you, maybe they really want it and they're in a different headspace, so you might just be like sometimes sacrificing on
this podcast is going to come back and haunt you big time. This episode it's going to go on air. And whoever you're dating 7 months down the lane is going to please come back to this episode, cut this part out, and go to Silwal and say skip your game.
Make sure that they stop listening to me. I'm like, you listen to me all the time. Why didn't you need to listen to the podcast anyways? Just don't give a crap about the podcast.
Yeah, so to all the girls who are pissed off because we're like very focused on the guys on this episode, what do you want to say to them? Because it's nearly coming to the end of the podcast.
We're really sorry we talk about football on your favorite channel right now. But this is a guy thing sometimes.
Just so that you could understand how guys feel in that particular fashion, and then that would help you in your friendship or relationship.
Yeah, there's a lot of memes going on that if a guy pauses a game for you and texts you back, marry him. What do you feel about that? When you're watching a game and if she calls you or she texts you, you reply immediately, or do you wait for the entire game to finish?
If I reply very honestly and I'm not replying just for the sake of it, then yes, please marry me, because that does not really happen often.
So girls, if you have guys who reply to you at the middle of the game, they pause the game.
Well, marriage is like a little far-fetched idea, but that definitely
He's the
means
special
something.
one for
Means
you.
something, yes. And ladies, if there's any topic that you think we should be covering, so that the guys know what they should be expecting from you in a relationship or in friendship, let us know in the comment section below.
We're just so sorry if you felt alienated by the topics that we talked about. It was mostly about how guys think and what we expect from girls. Because we are two guys, we sometimes lack the other side of the perspective. So if you want us to cover anything that you feel is important,
just come to the podcast, join us, let's talk about it. And
again, Satyal is still single, so if anyone is interested,
and Silwal is the ugly guy, so I'm definitely single.
Obviously.
So we'll be back again next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. And one last thing,
it's never too late to start.